Well, the Bayo hate is now off the scale. Send him to Mars, get rid of him now, end his contract, and all the above. Welcome back to our Hornets Walk. We're getting Aaron, Rio, and Luke reaction, of course, to that Plymouth draw, and some criticism for Cleverley. Is it deserved? We'll get these panel's view on that. Thank you very much for joining us. Do drop us a subscribe before you go any further. Also coming up this week, we're looking at the Fair Play League. Where do Watford feature in it? The answers that might just surprise you. That in 5 minutes' time. And we're also back on the club versus country row. Would you sooner see Watford win a cup or England lift the World Cup in America next summer? We'll get the panel's view on all of that. Right then, we won't talk too much about the actual game itself, Aaron, because I'm not sure there was too much to talk about. But our Plymouth fans reckoned they were the better team. Do you agree?
First half, I'll give them it. Again, one of those games where that wasn't hard to do. We had one shot that came at the very end of the half that was, serenaded with the old "we've had a shot." We were really, really poor first half. In fact, Tom came out after the game and said we basically wasted the first half. We threw it in the bin because we basically played no football in that time. It was drab. The crowd got flatter than normal, which is pretty impressive. I'll give them the first half. I think second half, they were quite happy there for a draw, and they just kind of sat back. Their keeper was booked for time wasting as well. I wouldn't say they were the better team.
Okay, all right. We'll give you that one. Let's jump straight into Bayo then, shall we? There's lots and lots of ones I could publish from Twitter this week. Let's have a look at a couple of them. Rio, shall we? Caden says, terminate Bayo's loan now. He is one of the worst strikers in our history. I'm going to come back to that point with you in a minute, if that's all right. Luke Gray says, send Bayo back to Italy, otherwise to space. Send Bayo to Mars, from Mr. Turtle Duck here. And PB says, if Bayo, Sissoko, and TDB ever play for us again, it is one game too many. Right then, Rio.
Well,
is he the worst striker in your history?
Well, on our video a few months ago, none of us mentioned it as the worst striker in our history, but definitely up there. Would you guys say top 5? It's debatable. It's debatable. I saw he had. I'm not one to go off expected goals, but he had double Plymouth's expected goals, and it will lead us nicely onto criticism of Cleverley. But he missed 3 absolute sitters on Saturday. Yeah, I mean, a capable striker should be scoring all of them, and it's what let the team down because there were arguments about Plymouth being the better team. Well, if Bayo could score his chances, that's comfortable 2-3-0 win based off that second half.
There was another tweet, Luke, that said, I'm convinced we could stick Harry the Hornet up top and he'd do a better job. I mean, we're getting into ridiculous levels here, but yeah, you can see where people are coming from, aren't you? Is I think people have been patient with him. I think it's fair to say, isn't it? After 35 games.
I think too patient. He's been with us long enough as well. It's not like this is his first season with us. He's been here for a while. But I remember we were talking about this actually during the Jan window, and we were sort of saying that it seems to be strikers that we never get right. And there's always a period of time where we'll have the conversation about that striker. He'll have a really tough time. We go, he's got to be the worst striker, or he's just not good enough. And it's just, again, it's to our recruitment. We haven't recruited well in the strike position in God knows how long, because we basically just had Troy Deeney and Nagalo for about good 5-6 seasons. So it's got to that point now where we haven't had a good striker in a long time, and we're just in that same cycle. And Bayo is the next sort of hit to that cycle.
Cheers for that. I mean, Aaron, anything to add to the Bayo debate? I mean, would you stand on him never playing again? I mean,
harsh. I think we're quite close to that anyway. He'll see out the rest of the season because there is no other striker. And he'll be back at Udinese at the end. But I think people saying he's the worst ever, undervaluing a lot of terrible strikers we've had. We've definitely had worse ones. That's undeniable. And I think that just shows you quite how bad we have recruited strikers in sort of the Championship era in general. I mean, I think you can count on one hand the half decent ones. So yes, Bayo not good, but he joins a long list.
Okay. Before we go on to Cleverley, let's talk about one little positive that came out on then. So yes, Xavier Messiah Edwards came on for his home debut, following lots of tweets, Rio, that said just swap him instead of Bayo, start him in the next game. I mean, how did he do, first of all? And yeah, what do we know about him?
I'm not one to throw academy players in when it actually matters, but he was very energetic and he actually was quite positive on the ball. I don't think he really misplaced a pass. And like compared to, you can't maybe fault Bayo's like work rate, but since he's come back from that red card, he looks a bit fatigued for some reason. And I think that fresh legs of Messiah Edwards, he was very good and he was helping us try to push for a goal. Yeah, obviously we were thinking maybe Nabazada's the next in line to get into the first team after what he's done in the FA Youth Cup for us, and he came off the bench against Leeds. But yeah, I'd happily see Messiah Edwards get more minutes this season. Maybe not start the next few games, but in the last couple of games where maybe it's not mathematically possible to get playoffs, I'd happily see him get a run out.
Okay. Thanks for that, all of you. Let's talk about Tom Cleverley then. Lukey's getting lots more criticism as the weeks go by. There's just a sample of one of them. Rich says, boring rubbish yet again. Oxford away, Plymouth at home, not a goal, barely a shot. He sets us up so bad each first half, so negative. I've now just had enough of it. Mind-numbing waste of a day again. Something has got to change now. First of all, do you agree with all of that, Luke? And what has got to change?
In terms of any change, it's not like a Cleverley out or anything. I think he's a great coach of what he's done so far. He's very young into his career, which I think a lot of people seem to forget about. This is his first actual managerial job, and he's done wonders with our team this season. You go back to our first episode, we said we couldn't get relegated, and we're still technically in for playoffs. And we have probably wasted a lot of first halves this season, where we've been basically playing a 45-minute game. And I think that's what we need to change. But maybe that is just because that Cleverley can't have an impact in play. He has to actually get the boys in the changing rooms, which is probably something that he needs to work on. Because the first half, we always have one setup, and the second half's a completely different setup, and it's all guns blazing. I personally think it's something within how his technique is. It's what he's telling the players. Because he's not that animated in the first half, and I've watched him in terms of like doing orders. He's usually more writing notes down because he's in his head. He's probably thinking what I'm going to drill into them in the first half at half time, and go for the second half, because obviously it's clearly something that he sees and he makes changes, and it works very well, as we've seen from our really strong second half performances. But again, we're wasting 45 minutes of the game. Plymouth was a game that we should be winning comfortably with, I would say, our strongest side that we could have played that day. And we've just wasted half of football, and that's just something he needs to work on. Just get drilling into the players early doors.
Cheers, Luke. You agree, Aaron?
Yeah. Tom's not devoid of criticism, so I don't mind people pointing out when he gets things wrong. I think that's fine. But I think the stuff you see on Twitter is ludicrous at points. Like I've actually seen people say that they would rather than move on from at the end of the season. And the people are making that kind of point. I just think to myself, what do you want? Because at 1 minute it's the owners need to go. They don't give managers enough time. Everyone in uproar when it looked like they were going to get rid of him, and then they don't do that, and it's suddenly, oh, Cleverley's rubbish. The football's terrible. He needs to go. Well, if the problem is Cleverley, then what? So the problem's not the squad anymore. It's like people have just forgotten that he's taking a team that shouldn't be where they are right now and got them close to the playoffs. And it's like people have gone, oh, well, if he's done that, then the expectation now is that we should get them. And I just think people need to rein it in and get a bit more realistic, because it's, very short-minded, some of the views on there.
Well, yeah, to your point, Aaron, as well, what you mentioned, the Pozzo out stuff as well. I think when that was that, we did a podcast on that, didn't we? We talked about that around Jan, because the Jan window's gone now, and we're about a month off, everyone's just forgot about it.
Yeah, it's terrible.
And now it's like, oh, what can we moan about now? So we're just going Cleverley because that's it. Oh, wait, the next transfer window comes, we don't sign anyone. Pozzo's out, September time. Oh, we forgot about it now. Let's just go in the manager because we're not playing as well.
He didn't get the winger he wanted, didn't get the left back he wanted. He said on the press conference the day before, 2 players guaranteed to come in.
Exactly.
We put all our eggs in one basket for that Fulham winger, I forgot his name.
Yeah, the hilarious point is that they see the manager right now as the thing that can change, make an instant impact.
No.
Well, you're viewing the manager the same way the Pozzos do, because that's what they do. When it goes stale, they change the manager. It's like somewhat for fans have become moulded to that way of thinking.
Yeah, it is.
Like
it is.
So long.
Completely agree. It is.
It's a mid-table starting 11 and probably even worse squad depth. So we're overachieving.
Okay. Rio, any additional thoughts to whether people are justified in calling him out?
One of the criticisms I did have of him maybe in the first half of the season is he's changing his squad around too much in his formation, but he seems set on the fullback right now, which is working. And obviously, slow first half and no goal scored against Plymouth and Oxford is pretty terrible. But if we had a striker, because playing Kiembe up front in one game and then Bayo up front in another game, I don't know who's worse. But if we had a striker, we beat Plymouth by at least a couple goals, and Oxford didn't even trouble us really, and we had most of the ball, but we have lots of possession every week, but you need to turn that into chances and goals, and we don't have that creativity because we don't have Bar, and we don't have a striker to put the ball in the back of the net. So I'd like to see what you could do with better players.
Had you beaten Plymouth and Oxford, then of course you would have been you'd have been in 6 on 58 points. But it's not over yet. Bristol City to come and Hull City, which of course we'll be reviewing on next week's episode. Luke Barr is on his way back as well. That's a positive, isn't it?
Very good. A lot of games, it's that sort of point where we've missed Bar. We've just missed someone to just go at the team. Like I've really been struggling watching Sissoko play right wing. I feel like I'm not the only one who's felt like that. But seeing him back on is a really good breath of fresh air. And also, obviously, today the Portsmouth away tickets came out via the Bar Derby. I'm very excited for that. I think he'd be bang up for that. He's just so good. He's just technically so good. He's so strong as well. It's our game changer. I really think we could have a goodish sort of end to the season, just secure that top half table. That's the difference, and hopefully Vata as well coming along with him, because they didn't play much together, and I think they will do well with us there too on the wings.
Would you say Bar's our best player?
No, it's still Loser or Chakvedazzi. Bar's not played enough to warrant that for me.
Okay. All right, then. Cheers for that. Yes, Bristol City then next, who haven't lost at home in a while, so that's going to be a tough one. We'll see how you get on next week for that one. We're also looking this week at the Fair Play League, because there's been some suggestions from others, in particular, that Watford have been a little bit on the naughty side this year in terms of how they play. Where do you think you feature? I haven't shown you this obviously yet. Where do you think you feature of the 24 clubs in terms of dirtiest teams?
Well, I know off by heart we've had 3 red cards: the Banquet Bayo and Sissoko kind of counts against Blackburn for the headbutt, but yeah.
Kind of counts for headbutt. Love that. Yeah. You are the 4th dirtiest side in the division, massively behind
Dark Arts,
Preston, Portsmouth, Stoke, and then you guys. As you say, 3 red cards, 80 yellow cards, which is the joint 4th highest in the division. I mean, Aaron, does that surprise you? Do you watch your side and think, we are one of those? I mean, Cleverley played in that mould. Don't forget, I watched him at Everton, and he always had a yellow card in him. So, is the team in the mould of the manager here?
Funnily enough, I think we've always been pretty bad for yellows, especially. I mean, I remember I think Mr. Hollebass back in the Premier League has the record for yellow cards in the season. We've always been that kind of team that doesn't really mind the cynical foul. I will say the other thing that really ramps our yellows up is our players are always giving it to the ref. So mouthy. Kiembe, I love putting him on for booking, because every day when we come off the bench, we plays the whole game. He's in the ref's ear all the time. And I do think some of our yellows have, rather than come for cynical fouls and things, they've come with either mouthing at the ref or mouthing at the opposition and starting little scraps. Because, I think we have some characters that are a bit like that. Kiembe, Loser, they're all players that don't mind giving it to the opposition a little bit.
I mean, Luke, does it surprise you?
A little bit, but when I first thought of the Fair Play League, I thought it was like, I was thinking about time wasting, because our game management's terrible, so we definitely don't time waste. But to Aaron, I always see, as soon as there's a foul, Loser's the first one to go over and he's always really animated as well. I'm surprised he doesn't get more yellow cards. But also we had Backman at the start of the season. He got a couple just from sprinting from one side to the other to have a go at the ref, which is just ridiculous. I'm really surprised by that. I always find the northern teams would have been up there. I'm surprised because of how much they time waste. They are so good at doing that. I think if there was a time waste league in terms of match, was it like minutes played, we'd be probably the highest. You'd have it with northern teams for the least amount of pay. So like 55 minutes average or something crazy like that.
We did find one league table which you are top of as well, which is a positive one. Although
Penalty.
other fans, yeah,
Oh,
penalties. Penalties.
We were bottom last season. I think we only had one, so makes
Yeah,
sense.
we were.
Yeah, 7 penalties, and of course you've not missed one. I mean, we brought this up because Sunderland, we were looking at it with them, that they've missed. They've had 5 and missed 4. What'd you put first of all the amount of penalties you received down to, Rio, and literally by
1, 2 of them, yeah.
And also the good thing, which is good, out of all the penalty takers we've had, Kiembe's taken one, Ince's taken one, Bayo's taken one. Loser might have been in there at some point. We switch our penalty takers quite often, so otherwise you can become quite predictable. I remember obviously we had the man himself, Deeney, who never missed a penalty except when he didn't go down the middle. So after he left, we missed quite a few, but now I think we're back on top of things.
What we need is a Watford. We need a Watford Sunderland semi-final, don't we? And take it to penalties, and then you're through to Wembley. That's your blueprint.
you just know if it goes to penalties, and then if somehow miraculously we got it, we're losing that penalty shootout. I know said that. No, Tom Daley-Bashir, I think, is the only one to have taken more than one and to have scored them. I think he took 3.
Kiembe's taken.
Or has Cameo took more than one as well? We seem pretty blessed with penalty takers at the minute, and touch wood.
Good. We posted this earlier, and it didn't take very long for our Portsmouth fans to quickly point out that the one that you got against them should not have counted. It should be 6.
Are they still going on about that?
They have not forgotten. There we go. Right. Finally, this week we're talking club versus country. International break is finally gone. I hate it personally. But if I could offer all of you the chance in your lifetime to see one of these 2 events, which one would it be? England lifting the World Cup in 2026, or Watford winning a significant trophy, whether that be the FA Cup or the League Cup, or even the league title, should you so choose it. Luke, let's start with you on this one. And we have had a split across our clubs on this.
This one's really tough because I follow England. So I go out to the tournament. I went to the Euros, went to 5 of the 7 games, and I was there for the final. And also we know how that felt. And out of like my friendship group, I'm the only Watford fan. So I feel like it's good when you're with other friends to sort of share it with. I don't know, because I know I'll be at the World Cup final. So I feel like to be at a World Cup final, if we make it, if we get to the World Cup final and I'm there in New York and we win it, I think that would be just generally like ridiculous. I'm going to go for England just because I should say it because of how many points I've got on my account. Okay. But obviously, what we're winning would be brilliant.
Aaron?
I'd see us promoted again over England winning. Either
just a promotion.
Yeah.
Oh.
I've always said this.
Wow.
As much as I'd enjoy the meltdown of the country, everything, and how great it would be, I have never cared for it as much as I care about seeing Watford do well. And like if the question is solely either win a major honour, then it's Watford every single time, because the fact we haven't actually won anything in the club's
it just feels so unrealistic, doesn't it? Though that's the thing.
It does, and that's why if it came to you can press the magic button and it happens, then I'd see us win the League Cup.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, somebody said, I think one of our Stoke fans said, I'll happily win the Papa John's trophy.
Let's get relegated for
that. Rio?
I think it depends who you support. If I'm a Big Six fan and Man City fan who literally won everything, then that's for England any day of the week. I wouldn't take us winning the Championship or being promoted over that, but definitely like the EFL or FA Cup as you get into Europe that way, and I think that'd be the dream following Watford in Europe. Look at like Brighton, Newcastle, whatever. But I'd say Watford winning a trophy. Just
Just okay, right. There you are. You cut Aaron open and he's bleeding red and yellow all over us. There. Right. Thank you very much, all of you, for that. Enjoy your trip to Bristol City. How many of you are making the trip over?
Not me.
Over to Cider Town?
Actually, none of us going for once.
None of us
lovely
are.
cider over that one.
We'll
Got a good
all
set
be
of
at
supporters there.
We'll be at Portsmouth.
Right.
Yeah.
On a simpler topic, if you want to be a podcaster on this going forward, actually go to games. Do drop us an
I've been
email.
4 away all season, Mark.
And just joking. Right. See you next week. Thank you much for joining us. Have a good one.